everyone, it's Christina. So I've been having a lot of anxiety lately because YouTube has not been my best friend. It has not been wanting to upload my videos, or it'll say that they are unavailable. So I'm really hoping and praying that this one works. So I apologize ahead of time, but I'll lead you into my speech. I'm actually talking about social anxiety disorder. I suffer from it myself, and it can be very, very, very hard to deal with. So without further ado, I've suffered with this since I was really little. Everyone just thought I was kind of, this shy kid that, didn't want to talk to people, but it actually was a lot worse than that. I would avoid social situations like at all costs. I never wanted to go to birthday parties. I never really wanted to hang out with other kids. I was always afraid of being rejected and humiliated, and I never wanted to raise my hand in class, things like that. Even to this day, I'm still very anxious when it comes to situations, and several times in my life, I've kind of given up on opportunities that I should have taken just because my anxiety got the better of me. So that's just my personal experience with it, because it can be very difficult when you avoid everyday life because you're so anxious. Even going to the grocery store and being in a large crowd of people can give me anxiety, which I know sounds irrational and silly to some, but it's a very real fear for me. So this class has been kind of a challenge just because I get very anxious when I have to record myself because I have that fear of being judged and humiliated, and it's not a good feeling. So social anxiety disorder is an extreme fear of social situations. People with social anxiety avoid tasks and being involved around people. People with social anxiety avoid meeting new people, dating, going to a job interview, raising their hand in class, having to talk to people on the phone, just doing everyday things in front of people. They often will worry and dwell on things before they even happen. I mean, I do this myself. I will dwell on something for weeks because I know it's coming up, and it can be very scary and overwhelming. And that can also lead to, more anxiety and panic attacks. People can also turn to drugs and alcohol to try to control their symptoms, which we all know is not healthy, and not a healthy coping mechanism. So treatment for social anxiety is that you can be prescribed medication to control it, such as an anti-anxiety or an antidepressant. They also use beta blockers now. Beta blockers work by slowing down your heart rate so that you're a little more calm and you're not having those anxiety symptoms. Also, there's an off-label medication called Atarax that's actually an antihistamine and used for allergies, but it can actually help to calm you so that you're not experiencing any type of anxiety. But that's more, you take that the day of, like you're going to do a speech or you have to go do something major that day, you take it the day of. But with the medications, it only treats your symptoms. It doesn't actually make your anxiety go away, so that's the one kind of downfall to medications. So what I've noticed kind of helps for me in my experience is the cognitive behavioral therapy, and it works differently from the medication because it's actually helping to eliminate the anxiety and giving you a skill to control it. Exposure techniques, when you go to therapy, they actually help you come face to face with the fear of the anxiety and that situation that brings on the anxiety, so you're being naturally conditioned to that fear. And then the more you're conditioned and the more you're exposed to it, the less that fear becomes. And then cognitive reconstructing is it helps to identify negative thoughts, because a lot of times when you have anxiety, you have very negative thoughts and you want to give up. So with that, you're taught to identify the irrational thought or the irrational fear, and then come up with a positive thought or a rational thought to overcome the anxiety. So that really helps as well. And then relaxation techniques are used also, because when you have anxiety, you're tensed up, and a lot of times you don't recognize it. I do this myself. I notice my traps get very tense, my back gets tensed, and I don't realize it until after, and then I'm like, ow, my back and my shoulders really hurt. So this helps you to identify what muscle groups are very tense when you're having anxiety, and then helps you to relax those muscles and get rid of that anxious feeling and become less tense over time. So with the social anxiety, it affects many people in their everyday life. It can potentially stop you from reaching your full potential, because you do tend to want to give up, and you want to avoid people at all costs and not want to do these things that are really, really scary, just because of that fear of rejection and being humiliated and not wanting to be judged and watched by other people. But however, with the right help, your social anxiety can be controlled. It just takes time and a lot of therapy, and a lot of times, combination of therapy and the medications that will help you. I know it helps me a lot in my own life, and I've actually felt a lot better about going back to school now that I'm 30, just because I'm like, okay, I can't let anxiety rule my life anymore. So that is pretty much it. It can be treated. You can live a normal life. And if you are like me and you suffer from this, just know that you're not alone, and there's always help out there. And yeah, that's it. And the reference is the Cognitive Behavioral Therapy for Social Anxiety. It was by Richard Heinberg, and it's an article from the Biological Psychology. And then it's the social anxiety disorder, more than just shyness, and I got that from the NIH government website. I hope you guys all enjoyed this, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.